Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and this is a belated, I apologize, video response to my good friend Ben, aka Shenmueso. I'm going to put his channel down in the description. Ben had done a video about 2-3 weeks ago now and tagged me. He said that the reason he was tagging me is because I make him go sex wee, which is British slang for, I think you get the picture. So, the video was about his 5 most nostalgic games. I have so many games that are nostalgic to me, but I'm going to name 7 of them. So hopefully Ben doesn't mind, but I'll try to go as quick as possible. I'm not going to draw this out as much as I could. So the first one, and I apologize for the lateness, the tardiness here. The reason I'm late to getting back to you is because my girlfriend's moving in. I'm getting rid of stuff. She's getting rid of stuff. We're renovating the apartment. Things are really like taking shape now. This coming week, they're going to come in and start breaking shit down and changing things. And it's just going to be, it's been very hectic. Like there's been like no weekend of just like calmness. It's just always been like running out and doing things and picking up tile and picking up fucking fixtures and blah, 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 blah. So that's the reason for the lateness. So, first game is a computer game, and I don't play computer games, really. I go on Steam now, I get free ones, I play Shadowrun Chronicles, or I play Shadowrun Returns, but not a big computer gamer by any means. But this I picked up on Long Island, I think in Target, back when I was a kid. It was my first computer game purchase that I recall. It is the Blood version of Shareware, or the Shareware version of Blood, I should say. And Blood is a really tongue-in-cheek, goofy, first-person shooter, very gory, sort of in the vein of like Duke Nukem or like Shadow Warrior more so. I believe this came out first, though, before Shadow Warrior. So many references. They have a dead Duke Nukem hung upside down. I think there's a Tomb Raider reference where they make fun of her. They talk about the Goonies. There's all like references to movies and Evil Dead, and like right when you wake up, there's some Evil Dead quote. I think I saw the movie once, so I don't really recall it. There's a walking hand that walks around and says, "I'll swallow your soul." So like there's a ton of movie and like in jokes, and it's just a really great, gory first-person shooter. My experience was I got this, then I ended up loving it so much I purchased the full game and like the add-ons, like the plasma pack and all the other stuff, and I would play it online on MPlayer, which was like the online network at that point, one of the online networks, along with Heat.net, which I think Sega owned, but MPlayer was more prevalent. And I would play Blood and Quake and all these other games, and amazing first-person shooters, so check that out. Another one here that I have is Shadowrun on the Super Nintendo. Now, I would say the Super Nintendo version and the Genesis version are both very nostalgic for me. The music in this one might win out. As for the gameplay and the RPG elements and stuff, I might prefer the Genesis version. I've kind of fought with myself over that over the years. I love both. So this one was the first one that introduced me to the Shadowrun universe. I had this guy that lived in my apartment complex when I was a kid, and he'd get all the Super Nintendo games, him and his wife, and the new stuff or different things, and he showed me this. He's like, "Oh, check this out." And I just loved it. It was such a cool cyberpunk universe. I had no idea it was based on a pen and paper role-playing game, which I think is fun too. I have some of those books. As I said, I played the Shadowrun Chronicles game and the Shadowrun Returns game on PC. I love the 360 game. This is like a point-and-click adventure with some shooting elements. The Genesis one is more of like a top-down shooter with RPG elements. Very, very different games, but so nostalgic. Love cyberpunk stuff, love futuristic stuff, and this is like totally up my alley. So I have some really good memories tied in with those titles. Let's see here. Another one, which I used to play with my good friend Nick. I could say his full name, right? Nicky Rendino. What's up, Nicky Rendino? No one's going to probably look for him. You know, who the hell wants to look my friends up and bother them about my videos? So this is Discworld on the PlayStation 1. This is a great Terry Pratchett, like kind of Monty Python-esque humor. I think the voice was done by Eric Idle, if I recall, from Monty Python. And it's like it looks like a cartoon. It looks like exactly like a Saturday morning type cartoon. British accents, British humor, all about the Discworld universe, which I knew nothing about. But Nicky, his brother Michael, and I would sit down and play this game. And, you know, back then you didn't have a lot to choose from, and what you had, you fucking played. If you didn't like it, too bad. Like, we weren't going to be able to just go out and buy more games. Like, kind of like when you're adults, maybe if you have a little extra money, go out and buy. No, you played what you had. So we traded this back and forth. I think I ended up with it, and I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I never got rid of it because I was tempted at getting rid of it at points. I think I beat it. Really hard, lots of load times, but very fun, great game. This was pre-internet days, so when I was playing this, at least for me, so when I was playing this, there was no like walkthroughs or anything. And I think years later I did look them up and figure out how to like get past points in the game that were just plain ridiculous. But great point-and-click adventure game. Me and my friend Nicky and his brother Mike would play all the time. Check out Discworld. Another PlayStation 1 game that I absolutely love, and I also own on the 3DO, Psychic Detective. Full motion video, figures, right? Where you jump from mind to mind in the game and see through the people's eyes and have to put together these clues to solve this mystery. Definitely one of those games you have to play a few times over to get the hang of and get different endings and figure things out. Difficult game, but really cool. I actually keep in touch with the actor from the game, Kevin Bresnahan, on Facebook a little bit, but I love this game. I don't know if he knew he was shooting a game or he just thought he was shooting a film, because when I've spoken to him about it, he's like, wait, that was for a game? What's a 3DO? He didn't know, so I'm not sure. But I rented this with my friend Mike, and we played it, and we thought it was just really weird and quirky, and years later I had to pick it up. And I picked this one up, and then the 3DO version, which I got sealed, and I cracked that open and played that one, and eventually used a walkthrough because it's that difficult in ways, and beat the game. So really cool game. I love Psychic Detective. Getting down to the last three. Omicron, the Nomad Soul. Rest in peace, boo-boo. Omicron is a Shenmue-esque third-person game, but they also include like a virtual fighter type, aspect where you fight people. It takes place in the future. I think from what I recall, the premise is pretty much when you die, your soul can jump from person to person, and you can like inhabit new bodies. That's like the main premise. And there's some demon who's trying to. It breaks the fourth wall. There's some demon who's trying to come through the video game and go into your body, and you have to stop him. And that's why you're jumping from person to person. So it's cool. It's from Quantic Dream, the same people that brought you Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, and they're working on something else now, I can't recall. Indigo Prophecy, aka Fahrenheit. So I love Omicron the Nomad Soul. I started this on the PC, loved it, played a demo, was blown away, bought it, never beat it, then bought it on the Dreamcast, never beat it, then bought it again on the Dreamcast years later, and finally beat it a few years back. Great game. The control can be a little better sometimes during there's a first-person shooter scene. They really mix a lot of genres into this. So the control could be a little better. The soundtrack is all done, from what I recall, by David Bowie. David Bowie's even in the game. It got me into David Bowie's music. I love this album that he did around this time, which was Hours. Amazing. Great nostalgia for me in playing Omicron the Nomad Soul. Glad I was finally able to beat it on my Dreamcast a few years back. It's cyberpunk too, so if you like cyberpunk shit, check it out. My last two games, I'll just put together, I guess. Wirehead on the Sega CD and Rise of the Dragon on the Sega CD. Wirehead, I used to play with my good friend Nicky Rendino and his brother Mike again. And what it was is it is first person pretty much, but it's a full motion video game where you control Ned Hubbard, Steve Whitting from the Hogan family. He's also in Stride. He's also in one of those Stride gum commercials for a while. And he has a chip in his head from an accident, like a brain implant, and you can control him. And you have to try and get him past obstacles, and he's running away from this government agency that wants the technology in his head. And if you go the wrong way, you get killed and grabbed and stolen and beaten and die and blah, blah, blah. But it's really like a cheesy B-movie. It's awesome. And me, Nicky, and Mike used to play this all the time, so I love Wirehead. Great memories, and it's just a fun full-motion video game. It's really good. Finally, another one of my favorite Sega CD titles, wiping the dust off because I don't get to them too often. Rise of the Dragon. This is originally, I think this and Willy Beamish were both computer titles that were ported over. They added voiceovers instead of primarily text, and just a friggin' great game. My other friend Nicky Massey, introduced me to this because he introduced me, him and both Nickies actually introduced me to the Sega CD, different points in time, and it's a point-and-click adventure game with like adult kind of themes, cyberpunk, futuristic, really pulls from Blade Runner, which I didn't watch till many years later. But I love this game. It has great memories, great quotes. Really holds up if you love point-and-click adventures, and the graphics are awesome. It looks like a cartoon, so you're like interacting with a cartoon world, and you have to stop this like gang, this like big organization who is selling drugs on the street of California, I believe, and they, are doing all this crazy shit, and they're trying to like bring this demon, this dragon Bahamut, back to California and Los Angeles, it says, and to kill everyone, and you have to like stop it. And it's all timed, but it's a point-and-click adventure game with some shooting sections and some like a lot of puzzle elements. Some of them can be kind of difficult, but absolutely love all these games. These games bring back such emotion and nostalgia for me. I sound like, happy console gamer talking about how nostalgic I am, but I guess that's what the video is supposed to be about, right? If you want to know any more about these games, or if you want to tell me you love some of these games too, please tell me what some of your favorite moments from these games are. Thank you, Ben, aka Shenmueso, for tagging me, and I apologize for the video being a little late. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.